Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you of a powerful truth. Your life is not fixed. Your mind is the architect of your destiny. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every story you repeat to yourself is a blueprint for the reality you live in. If you want to transform your life, you must first reprogram your mind. Science has proven something extraordinary. Your brain is not hardwired. Through neuroplasticity, your brain constantly reshapes itself. Every time you focus on a thought, every time you rehearse an idea, you are wiring new circuits. Imagine that the very structure of your mind is being sculpted by what you pay attention to. If you constantly think about your limitations, your brain strengthens those pathways. But if you dwell on possibility, abundance, and vision, you literally carve out new highways of potential in your nervous system. But here's the challenge: most people live their lives stuck in the programs of the past. They wake up and unconsciously repeat yesterday's thoughts, replay yesterday's emotions, and live inside the same familiar patterns. If nothing changes in your thinking, nothing changes in your life. To transcend your current reality, you must step beyond the prison of old memories and emotions. So, how do you do this? You must learn the art of mental rehearsal and visualization. Your brain does not know the difference between a real event and an intensely imagined one. When you close your eyes and envision yourself already living the life you desire, when you feel the joy, the freedom, the success as if it's happening right now, you are signaling new neural pathways and conditioning your body into that future reality. But thought alone is not enough. Emotion is the energy that makes thought real. Gratitude, love, and joy are not just nice feelings. They are the fuel that powers creation. When you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, you set a magnetic field that begins to attract opportunities, people, and circumstances that align with your vision. Now comes the ultimate step, becoming that future self today. If you want to create your dream life, you must step into the identity of the person who already lives it. You cannot wait until success comes to feel successful. You cannot wait until love arrives to feel loved. You cannot wait until freedom is given to feel free. You must embody those feelings now, because life does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. The truth is simple but profound. If you keep thinking the same way, you will keep living the same way. But if you change your thoughts, if you elevate your emotions, if you align with the vision of your future self, you can reprogram your mind, transcend the limits of your current reality, and create the dream life that has always been waiting for you. Every single thing you experience in life begins first in your mind. The world you see around you is not just happening to you. It is responding to the thoughts and beliefs you hold within you. Your thoughts are not random. They are powerful electrical signals, energetic vibrations that instruct your brain, your body, and even the field of life around you on what to create. When you think the same thoughts day after day, you are wiring those ideas into your nervous system, and over time they become beliefs. Beliefs are nothing more than thoughts you have rehearsed so many times that they feel like truth. And those beliefs shape the very lens through which you interpret reality. If you believe you are not capable, you will filter out opportunities that could help you grow. If you believe you are destined for failure, your brain will unconsciously search for evidence to prove it correct. But if you begin to cultivate empowering beliefs, such as "I am capable of learning anything," or "I am worthy of living a life of abundance," you activate a completely different neurological and emotional state that aligns you with possibility. Most people do not realize that their lives are not being run by conscious choice, but by unconscious programming. 95% of what you think, feel, and do every day is the product of the subconscious mind. It is a record of your past experiences, stored emotions, and repeated thoughts. The subconscious is like an autopilot, and if you do not take control of it, it will continue to replay the same patterns, leading to the same results. This is why so many people feel stuck. They wake up every day thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, making the same choices, and they wonder why nothing changes. But when you step into awareness and begin to choose your thoughts deliberately, you take back your creative power. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the architect of your reality. The science is clear. Your thoughts directly influence your biology. When you think a stressful thought, your brain releases chemicals that trigger fear, tension, and anxiety in your body. Your heart races, your muscles tighten. Your immune system weakens. When you think a loving or empowering thought, your brain releases neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which elevate your mood, expand your creativity, and strengthen your body. Every thought carries a biological consequence, and over time those consequences accumulate into either health or disease, strength or weakness, fulfillment or despair. This means that your inner dialogue, the stories you repeat to yourself, literally determine the quality of your life. But here is the most empowering truth: you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And if you can observe them, you can change them. You can interrupt old patterns of self-doubt, fear, and limitation and consciously replace them with new thoughts of courage, faith, and possibility. At first, it might feel unnatural because your mind has been conditioned to think in certain ways, but through repetition and intention, your brain begins to accept new ideas as reality. The same way you learn to walk, speak, or ride a bicycle through practice, you can train your mind to believe in your greatness, your worth, and your potential. Consider this: every invention, every piece of art, every achievement in history began as a thought. Airplanes, electricity, technology, all of it first existed in someone's imagination before it became reality. If a thought can build skyscrapers and send humans into space, imagine what your thoughts can build for your personal life. Your dream job, your ideal relationships, your financial freedom, your health, your happiness. They all start in the invisible realm of thought before they manifest into the visible world. So the key to transformation is to become aware of what you are thinking and to consciously choose thoughts that align with the life you want to create. When you change your thinking, you begin to change your feelings. When you change your feelings, you begin to change your actions. And when you change your actions consistently, you change your destiny. Your beliefs are not fixed. They are flexible and trainable. The question is, are you rehearsing limitations or are you rehearsing possibilities? Because whichever one you repeat will ultimately become the foundation of your reality. Your brain is not a fixed organ that locks you into one way of living. It is dynamic, flexible, and designed to adapt. This incredible ability is called neuroplasticity, the capacity of your brain to rewire itself based on what you repeatedly think, feel, and do. For centuries, people believed that the brain was static, that once you reached a certain age, your patterns, intelligence, and abilities were set for life. But science has shown us something revolutionary. Your brain is constantly reshaping its connections, building new neural pathways, and pruning away old ones in response to your habits and experiences. This means you are never trapped. No matter what your past has looked like, no matter what you were taught to believe, no matter how deeply ingrained your old patterns may seem, you always have the power to change. Think of your brain like a vast network of roads. Every time you have a thought or perform an action, it's like sending a car down one of those roads. The more often you travel a particular route, the smoother and wider it becomes. If you constantly think thoughts of worry, fear, or limitation, you are strengthening those neural highways, making it easier and easier for your mind to default to those states. But if you begin to practice thoughts of courage, gratitude, and vision, even if at first the road is bumpy and unpaved, repetition will carve a new path. Over time, this new road becomes the dominant one, and the old one begins to fade away. This is the essence of neuroplasticity. Your brain physically changes in response to your choices. This is why habits are so powerful. A habit is simply a neural pathway that has been rehearsed so many times it has become automatic. When you first learned to drive a car, it required enormous concentration, but now you can do it while having a conversation or listening to music. The same principle applies to your emotional and mental habits. If you practice self-doubt, you become fluent in it. If you practice self-belief, you rewire your brain for confidence. The brain does not care what program it runs. It simply responds to repetition and attention. And this is where your conscious power comes in. You can choose what patterns you want to reinforce. You can decide which roads you want to strengthen and which ones you want to abandon. What most people do not realize is that their thoughts are not harmless. Each thought releases chemical messengers in the brain, shaping both your mind and body. When you repeat a thought, the brain wires together the neurons associated with that thought, making it easier to think again. This is why negative thinking can feel so automatic, because the brain has been wired for it. But the good news is that the same process works for positive and empowering thinking. Every time you imagine a better future, Every time you affirm a new possibility, every time you align with gratitude, you are sculpting your brain toward that reality. With enough practice, it becomes the new automatic way of being. Neuroplasticity is not limited to thoughts. It applies to skills, emotions, and even identity. People have recovered from strokes by teaching their brains to reroute functions to undamaged areas. Musicians literally grow larger brain regions related to their craft because of the hours of practice they invest. Athletes build mental blueprints of their movements that improve performance even when they are not physically training. If the brain can adapt to that degree, imagine what it can do when you train it intentionally to align with your dream life. The most important thing to remember is that your brain follows your focus. Whatever you consistently give your attention to becomes your dominant wiring. If you feed your mind with images of limitation, it will wire itself to keep you small. But if you consistently focus on possibility, creativity, and vision, your brain will evolve to support that future. The process is simple. Where attention goes, energy flows. And where energy flows, your brain grows. You cannot change your life by accident. You must change it by intention. And intention, repeated daily with focus and emotion, is what literally transforms the architecture of your brain. So understand this: you are not stuck with the brain you have. You are shaping it every single day with your thoughts, your choices, and your actions. The power of neuroplasticity gives you the freedom to break free from old identities and to construct a mind that is aligned with the person you want to become. You are not defined by your past. You are not limited by the patterns you inherited. At any moment, you can decide to create new circuits, new emotions, new habits, and ultimately, a new life. Most people live their lives trapped in a cycle of repetition because they do not realize how much of their present reality is built from their past. From the moment you wake up, your brain automatically recalls yesterday. You wake up in the same bed, you reach for the same phone, you think the same thoughts, and you feel the same emotions. Without even realizing it, you are recreating the past in the present moment. The mind loves familiarity, and the body becomes addicted to the emotions of the past, whether they are empowering or destructive. That is why breaking free feels uncomfortable, because you are asking both your mind and body to step into unknown territory. Yet if you keep reliving yesterday, you will never create a different tomorrow. Your past is stored not only in your memory, but in your very biology. Every experience that evoked a strong emotion left an imprint in your nervous system. When you felt fear, anger, rejection, or failure, your body memorized that emotion, and over time it became part of your identity. The brain forms neural networks around these experiences, and the body begins to operate as if those emotions are your natural state. That is why so many people feel they cannot escape anxiety, sadness, or self-doubt, because their bodies have rehearsed those emotions for years until they became automatic. But here is the truth: your past only exists in your memory, and your memory only lives in your mind. It has no power over you unless you continue to give it power by reliving it in thought and emotion. To break free from the past, you must first become aware of the stories you are carrying. Ask yourself, what am I rehearsing every day? Am I rehearsing pain, disappointment, and failure, or am I rehearsing possibility, gratitude, and hope? If you keep telling yourself the same old story, you are programming your future to match it. The moment you begin to interrupt those old stories and replace them with new ones, you create a crack in the cycle. The brain may resist at first because it craves what is familiar, but with awareness and repetition, you can teach it to embrace the unfamiliar. And that unfamiliar state is the future you desire. The body also needs to be retrained. If it is addicted to stress, fear, or resentment, you must introduce it to new emotions. This is not about pretending your past never happened. It is about refusing to let it define who you are now. You can acknowledge pain without living in it. You can learn from your experiences without becoming a prisoner of them. By practicing elevated emotions like gratitude, love, and joy, you give your body a new chemical signature, one that is aligned with the life you want to live rather than the pain you want to leave behind. Think of it this way: every day you are either living as a record of your past or as a vision of your future. If you wake up and remember who hurt you, what you lost, or what went wrong, you are anchoring yourself to the past and replaying it again. But if you wake up and ask, who do I want to become today? How do I want to feel today? What would it look like to live as my future self? Then you are stepping into creation rather than repetition. Breaking free from the past is about shifting your attention from memories that limit you to possibilities that expand you. Many people fear the unknown, but the unknown is the only place where change can happen. The known is your past, and the past is predictable. If you want something new, you must embrace the uncertainty of possibility. It is uncomfortable at first, because the mind and body are wired to keep you safe by repeating what is familiar, even if that familiarity is suffering. But when you step into the unknown with intention, you begin to show your brain and body that the unfamiliar can become the new familiar, and that freedom lies beyond the prison of repetition. So breaking free from the past is not about erasing your memories. It is about rewriting your future. It is about no longer letting your history dictate your destiny. You must learn to see yourself not as the product of what has happened to you, but as the creator of what is possible for you. The past is only alive if you keep feeding it with your attention. The moment you withdraw your focus from it and direct your energy into a new vision, you cut the cords that keep you tied to yesterday. And in that moment, you open the door to transformation, to becoming someone new, and to living a life no longer limited by what has already been, but expanded by what can still be. Your mind has the extraordinary ability to shape reality, and one of the most powerful tools it has is visualization. What many people don't realize is that the brain does not distinguish between something vividly imagined and something physically experienced. When you picture an event in your mind with clarity and emotion, the same neural circuits fire as if you were actually living it. This means every time you visualize your dream life, you are literally training your brain and body to believe it is already happening, wiring new pathways that align with that vision. Athletes have used this power for decades. Studies show that when a basketball player imagines themselves shooting free throws, the same regions of the brain activate as when they physically practice. Musicians who mentally rehearse their instruments improve their performance even when no sound is played. This is not fantasy. It is neuroscience. You can rehearse the life you want to live so intensely in your mind that your brain begins to treat it as reality, preparing your body to step into that experience. But visualization is more than daydreaming. It requires intention, clarity, and emotional involvement. A vague image of being successful is not enough. You must see, feel, and embody the details of your future. Imagine the environment, the colors, the conversations, the sensations of what it will be like when your vision manifests. The more specific and vivid the mental rehearsal, the stronger the neural wiring becomes. If you want to change your life, don't just think about what you want. Practice living it in your imagination until it feels natural. When you do this, you are not waiting for the future to come to you. You are pulling the future into the present through the power of your mind. The science behind this is remarkable. Every time you visualize, you are strengthening the connection between your conscious intention and your subconscious mind. Your subconscious controls the majority of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and it accepts what is repeated with emotion as truth. This means that when you vividly imagine yourself already living your dream life with genuine feelings of joy, gratitude, and confidence, you are programming your subconscious to believe that identity. And once the subconscious accepts it, your actions, perceptions, and decisions begin to align with it automatically. You start noticing opportunities you would have overlooked, taking steps you previously feared, and attracting people and circumstances that resonate with the new vibration you are sending out. Visualization is also powerful because it primes your nervous system for success. If you imagine yourself speaking confidently on stage, your brain activates the motor pathways needed for that action. When the real moment comes, your body feels prepared because it has rehearsed it hundreds of times in your mind. This is why visualization is not just a mental exercise, but a full body rehearsal. Your physiology responds as if the imagined future is real, and with repetition, your body begins to trust that it already knows how to live that reality. However, the true magic of visualization comes when it is combined with emotion. A picture in the mind without feeling is just an image. But when you add gratitude, excitement, or love to your mental rehearsal, you create an energetic frequency that extends beyond the brain and into the body. This emotional energy is the signal that communicates with the field of possibilities around you. When your mind and emotions are aligned, you set in motion a powerful creative process that begins to draw your imagined future into your lived reality. You are no longer just thinking about your dream. You are embodying it, magnetizing it, and calling it into existence. Too often, people use visualization the wrong way. They imagine what they want, but then immediately return to old thoughts of doubt, fear, and limitation. This cancels out the signal they just created. To use visualization effectively, you must practice consistency. Every day, close your eyes and step into the movie of your future. See it so vividly that you lose track of where you are. Feel it so deeply that your heart responds as if it is already true. The more often you repeat this process, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, your brain begins to believe, and once your brain believes, your life begins to shift. Understand this visualization is not wishful thinking. It is a discipline, a practice of training your mind and body to align with your desired future. When you hold the vision long enough, when you pair it with emotion strong enough, you create a new internal reality that the external world must eventually reflect. Your dream life is not something distant or unreachable. It already exists in the quantum field of possibilities. Through visualization, you step into that field and select the future you want. And when you live as though it is already true, you bring it from the invisible into the visible, from imagination into reality. Thoughts alone are not enough to transform your life. You can think of abundance, success, love, or health all day long, but if those thoughts are not paired with the right emotions, they remain only ideas in the mind. What truly brings creation to life is the energy of elevated emotions. Gratitude, love, joy, inspiration, and freedom are not just pleasant states of mind. They are powerful frequencies that transform your body and broadcast a signal into the field around you. When you combine a clear intention with a genuine elevated emotion, you activate the formula of change. Your thoughts become the blueprint, and your emotions become the fuel that brings that blueprint to life. Most people are unknowingly living in the emotions of their past. Stress, fear, anger, guilt, and resentment are familiar states that the body has memorized. These emotions carry a low frequency, and when you dwell in them, you are broadcasting a signal of limitation and survival. From this state, your body is preparing only to protect itself, not to create something new. You might have inspiring thoughts about a better future, but if your emotions are rooted in fear or doubt, you are sending conflicting messages to your mind and to the field of possibility. The result is stagnation. You remain stuck in the same patterns, repeating the same experiences, because your emotional energy is not aligned with your intentions. The power of elevated emotions is that they break you out of this cycle. Gratitude, for example, is one of the highest frequencies you can feel. When you practice gratitude, even for simple things, you are telling your brain and body that you already have what you need. Gratitude trains the body to believe the future has already arrived. This emotional state rewires the nervous system and conditions your subconscious to accept new possibilities. Love works the same way. It expands your energy field, opens your heart, and allows you to connect with people, opportunities, and ideas in a way fear never could. Joy and inspiration elevate your chemistry, releasing neurochemicals that enhance your creativity, focus, and resilience. These emotions are not just feelings. They are physiological states that prepare your body and mind to align with your vision. Think of your emotions as the magnet that pulls your future toward you. A thought without emotion is like a weak signal. It does not travel far. But a thought infused with deep gratitude or love is amplified, powerful, and magnetic. This is why it is not enough to think about the life you want. You must feel it. If you want financial freedom, you must practice the feeling of abundance now. If you want love, you must practice the feeling of being loved now. If you want health, you must practice the feeling of vitality now. You cannot wait for the external world to give you permission to feel these emotions. You must generate them within yourself first, because life is not responding to what you wish for. It is responding to who you are being in this moment. At first, it may feel difficult because your body is so accustomed to lower emotions, but through practice, you can train yourself to sustain elevated states. Begin by choosing one emotion, gratitude, for example, and practicing it daily. Reflect on something you appreciate, allow the feeling to expand in your chest, and hold it until it becomes familiar. The more you rehearse this, the more natural it becomes. Your body begins to prefer this new state, and over time, it becomes your baseline. From this elevated place, your thoughts gain power, your actions gain clarity, and your vision gains momentum. The key is consistency. It is not about feeling gratitude once or love once and expecting your life to transform overnight. It is about practicing these emotions as a way of being until your entire energy field shifts. When your thoughts and feelings match, you are coherent, and coherence is what creates transformation. You are no longer sending mixed signals into the world. You are aligned, focused, and powerful. Elevated emotions turn your vision into a living reality because they condition your body to experience the future before it arrives. So understand this: your dream life will not come from simply wishing or hoping. It will come from embodying the emotions of that dream right now. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, and the more magnetic you become to the life you desire. Gratitude, love, joy, and inspiration are not luxuries. They are the catalysts of creation. They are the fuel that transforms thought into reality. When you live in elevated emotions, you are no longer chasing your future. You are drawing it to you one heartbeat, one thought, and one feeling at a time. The secret to creating your dream life lies in becoming that version of yourself before it even shows up in your physical reality. Most people live by the belief that once they achieve success, then they will feel successful. Once they find love, then they will feel loved. Once they have abundance, then they will feel abundant. But this is a reversal of how creation works. Life does not give you what you want. It reflects who you are being. If you wait for external circumstances to change before you allow yourself to feel and act differently, you remain stuck in the same patterns, reinforcing the same life. To truly transcend your current reality, you must embody the mindset, emotions, and behaviors of your future self now. Imagine the version of you who is already living your dream life. That self is confident, free, fulfilled, abundant, or deeply loved. Whatever qualities you are seeking, instead of seeing that version as something distant, you must begin to ask yourself every day, how would that future version of me think? How would they feel? How would they carry themselves? How would they respond to challenges? By answering these questions and practicing those states of being now, you are aligning your present self with your future reality. The more you embody it, the more natural it becomes, and eventually you close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Your brain and body are constantly responding to your state of being. If you think and feel like the same person as yesterday, your future will look just like your past. But the moment you begin to act as your future self today, your brain wires new pathways and your body memorizes new emotions. You are no longer living in the old identity. You are teaching your biology to accept the future identity as your present reality. Over time, this state becomes automatic, and when it does, your external world has no choice but to mirror the change. You are no longer waiting for life to transform. You are transforming first, and life follows. This requires discipline and awareness. It is easy to slip back into old patterns of thinking, to let familiar emotions of doubt or fear dominate your day. But every time you notice yourself drifting into the old self and consciously shift back into your future state, you are strengthening the new identity. You are proving to your mind and body that you are serious about becoming someone new. Consistency is what rewires your nervous system. The more often you return to the future version of yourself, the more powerfully you embody it until it becomes who you truly are. It is important to understand that becoming your future self does not mean pretending or faking it. It means aligning your energy, thoughts, and emotions with the reality you desire. If your dream is to be financially free, you must carry the energy of abundance even before the money arrives. If your dream is to experience love, you must generate the feeling of being loved even before the relationship appears. If your dream is to live in health, you must act as though vitality already belongs to you. When you embody these states, you are no longer wishing for change. You are being the change, and reality begins to reorganize itself around that vibration. The people, opportunities, and circumstances that match your new identity begin to show up. This is not coincidence, it is resonance. The energy you broadcast through your thoughts and emotions attracts the external experiences that are in harmony with it. By becoming your future self now, you are setting the conditions for your dream life to manifest. It is like tuning into a radio frequency. Once you broadcast on the frequency of abundance, love, or success, you cannot help but connect with the reality that matches it. The question is not whether you can create your dream life. The real question is whether you are willing to live as the person who already has it. Can you think as they think, feel as they feel, and act as they act even before it arrives? If you can, you will collapse the time it takes for that future to appear because you are no longer separate from it. You are living it in the present moment. This is the essence of transformation. Your life is a reflection of your state of being. And when you choose to become the future version of yourself now, you step out of the prison of the past and into the freedom of creation. You stop waiting, you stop hoping, and you start being. And when you are being, you are attracting, you are creating, and you are living the dream life that was always waiting for you to claim it.